Now, there's one thing that comes to mind when it comes to wintertime, and that is black metal and low quality recordings. So I'll be recording on low quality equipment to set the mood. If you're anything like me, wintertime probably brings up a lot of interesting emotions. Whether that is depression, melancholy, relaxation, or tranquility. These releases that I will be talking about have to deal with a variety of emotions. But I feel like they all set the mood of wintertime. That is the snow falling against your face, a white blanketed landscape of trees and houses. I feel like these set that mood perfectly. Now, this is no countdown of greatest black metal albums for wintertime of all time. There's no comprehensive order to this list. This is just a list I decided to make out of impulsivity and a love for the genre and a appreciation to express my opinions upon all of you about these wonderful albums. And hopefully you get something out of it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're here just to kill time. Put this on in the background, and I thank you for that. But in the meantime, here are winter black metal albums to be played this snow season. Tranquility and Chaos are two accurate descriptions of this 2019 release named The Silent Choir by The Sun's Journey Through the Night. The godless tyrant himself, No One, really demands the listener's attention with these two tracks. Side A and Side B, both consisting of about 20 minutes of material and consisting of a total, if you can do math unlike me, 40 minutes of music and ethereal landscapes, forces the listener into either submission or release. Passage de Verre, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, self-titled demo released in 1999, much like the Silent Choir, demands your attention. Imagine a splintering, cold winter landscape as you drift off in and out of consciousness, only to be awoken by a numbing sensation in your hands and feet. That is the screams of Winter himself and his instrumentation, which can be abrasive and abrupt. A lot of inspiration for the Silent Choir can be heard through this demo, and it is a gorgeous experience to be withheld. There was a story of one day when I was sleeping in a Hollywood parking lot, listening to this record fading in and out of consciousness, and I imagined drifting through the snow. And all I can say is, I hope you feel the same. A more traditional listening experience is Veselnik's Eternal Rest compilation, released in 2015, consisting of many tracks from his time as Neeratal. during 2009 to the said date, 2015. Tracks such as True Suicide and Fall Melancholy 2 really are a interesting experience on his talent and what he can bring to the table that not many solo black metal artists or even depressive suicidal black metal artists have brought to the table before. Nothing he's doing is out of the ordinary or exactly new, but it's the way he does it that brings something new to the table and something to be desired and more. Now, there is nothing that hasn't been said about this 1995 record from the gods known as Dark Throne. And I am very glad to say that this album is finally getting the recognition it deserves. They always said that they have had the 3 best black metal albums of all time, but I say it's 4. Panzerfaust was the 4th release in this black metal quad trilogy. I know that's not a word, but I'm going to work with it. From Nocturnal Koto's decimating vocals to Fenriz's work on guitar, drums, and bass, this simple, low-quality recording of Panzerfaust truly brings out what black metal is about. From the tracks The Hordes of Nebula, Triumphant Gleam, and Quintessence, you get an abrasiveness that you have not heard before, vocally or instrumentally, before 1985. And that is brought out especially through the vocals, which sound like Mr. Kolto is being strangled and stabbed at the microphone. Fenriz is known being said that his vocals were shaking the place that they were recording at. That is how guttural and how truly demonic these vocals are. I demand any new or old black metalhead to return to this album time and time again, especially during this winter season. Now, I feel like you can't talk about Dark Throne or any of the originators of black metal without talking about Mayhem. And that is the true fucking Mayhem, live in Leipzig, featuring the instrumentals from Necrobutcher, Hellhammer, and Euronymous, and the gut-wrenching vocals from Pele, also known as Dead. This consists of, in my opinion, how the tracks were meant to be listened to. Unfortunately, we all know the story of how Dead met his untimely demise to himself. And I feel like this is a perfect time capsule of what he could have provided for Mayhem. And during this snowfall, I demand you pour a drink, watch as the snow covers every inch around you, turn on Live in Leipzig, blasting volume, and listen for Dead. Released only a year after A Gate Through Bloodstained Mirrors, album that I consider to be Zaster's magnum opus. 2002's Nocturnal Poisoning. does not leave much to be desired in a traditional black metal sense. The raw production and atmosphere it provides will make you crave the cold. Malefic's instrumentation improves upon this album from the previous one, and the production, low quality as it is in fact quite a bit better than A Gate Through Bloodstained Mirrors. One of the most rawest black metal recordings out there. This is a perfect one for this time of year. Not raw enough black metal for you? Sanguine Relic's 2015 release of Vampiric Will scratch that itch. Consisting of simple tracks that are labeled passages and rests. This is a very interesting release from Sanguine Relic due to his consistency of not specifically titling tracks specific names. Unlike many black metal tracks where I find myself swaying in motion, this one actually has a consistent beat to it, especially Passage 2, the second track off this release. You will find yourself head bobbing and at times maybe even bouncing your leg if you're neurodivergent enough to the beat of these songs. A perfect vampiric album. Now, let's imagine a scenario where either of those two albums aren't noisy enough for you. Alahido's second demo, The Blessing, will once again scratch that unsatiable itch that you have for more noise, consisting of 4 simple tracks and clocking in at just under 30 minutes. This wall of sound and decimating noise is best played on the shittiest cassette player you have, on one of their already recycled cassettes that they have made from the earliest copies of this demo. A very snow-filled album, if I do say so myself. I remember listening to this a lot while living in a small mountain town a couple of years ago, and digging away at the snow, just trying to get our vehicles to move. A beautiful album for a beautiful time. Looking for something more in the traditional black metal vein, but a little more refined? Look no further than Maleficent's NP1 compilation. This compilation was released in 2017 and consists of many great tracks for your wonderful winter time. Don't let the refinery turn you off to this record. There's 2 lasting tracks on the end of this record that are rehearsals that are perfect in that low quality, lo-fi black metal sense, if that's what you're looking for. Still, great compilation record. High recommendation coming from me for these coming cold winter months. It would be blasphemy not to mention 1984's release, Bathory. This self-titled record, consisting of 8 tracks of pure darkness and evil, pun intended, is a great mention for the snowfall. Listening to this record while driving on the highway during a winter storm really brings out the energy of this record. And if you haven't heard this record yet, or this is the first time you're hearing of it, or maybe it's a re listen. I absolutely recommend 100% returning or re entering, or just entering in general, to the gates of hell that will begin with this record. I thank you all for joining me on this adventure for what I consider some essential black metal albums of this coming winter time. So as the snow falls and you drink your cup of coffee or tea, if that's your preferred beverage, just put on a couple of these records, listen to them in utter silence, and enjoy every moment they have to offer.